3 severely emaciated stallions are recovering after being rescued by the Mercer County Sheriff's Office.
Hackers have leaked the database from a website marketed to people who want to have affairs. And someone on Twitter claims to be exposing people from Kentucky using the site.
And the SEC has released the conference schedule for the upcoming basketball season. Find out who the Cats will be playing.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. WKYT News starts now with breaking news.
Good evening to you. Tonight, Lexington police are trying to figure out what led to a man being hit by a car outside a Lexington store, and they say someone also fired shots.
This all happened just before 9 o'clock tonight outside the Eastland Food Mart on Eastland Parkway. Lexington police say that some people got into an argument, and that led to some shots being fired. No one was hit by the bullets, but police say a man involved in the argument was hit by a car as the driver left the area. That man was taken to the hospital, but police do not know how badly he was injured. Lexington police say they are taking an assault report. They do not have a good description of the suspect or the vehicle involved in the case. She took them in hoping to give them a second chance, but tonight a Central Kentucky woman says she needs help caring for 3 rescued horses.
Investigators say they found the horses living in horrible conditions a few weeks ago on a Mercer County farm. The woman now caring for them says the expenses are just too much, so she's asking the community to pitch in. First, a warning, though, you may find some of these pictures disturbing. Monique Blair has our top story at 11.
This is one of the stallions brought to Laura Sullivan's farm about 2 weeks ago, and when they were brought here, they were each severely emaciated, dehydrated, and covered in feces.
It was gut-wrenching. It was absolutely gut-wrenching. It was like being kicked in the stomach. You just didn't know what you were looking at.
Sullivan says the stallions had a hard time walking and were barely able to stand.
I just shook my head. How are these animals still living?
Sullivan typically rescues wildlife animals, but never horses. She says the Mercer County Sheriff's Office asked her to temporarily care for them, and she couldn't say no.
They needed to move them immediately because they knew they were in dire shape, and they came to me for help, and there was no way I was turning them away.
And now, although Sullivan says the horses are doing much better than they were 2 weeks ago, they still need quite a bit of care, something she just doesn't have the resources to do. So she is turning to fundraisers to help her with that.
They are much more needing and demanding as far as hay, bedding, veterinarian bills. It helps us get what needs to be done.
And while Sullivan hopes to find a long-term foster home for the stallions as soon as possible, the Sheriff's Office tells me right now it's up to the court to determine where those stallions will be placed.
I think the sheriff will work with us very closely because he knows I cannot keep them much longer.
Now, if you want to help these horses out, there is a GoFundMe page set up. There is also going to be a tax sale on August 29th, and all of that money will go towards directly helping these horses recover. And you can find all that information on our website at WKYT.com. In Mercer County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
The sheriff's office did not release the name of the person who owned the horses, but that person has been charged with animal cruelty.
Could get a little loud out there because tonight another round of showers and maybe some storms moving across parts of the state. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey shows us what he's tracking on the First Alert Defender right now.
Yeah, a lot of showers and storms out there on and off throughout the day. Not a washout of a day as expected, but boy, those storms kind of dodging the Lexington Metro. I don't think too many folks are going to be complaining about that one. My lawnmower will not complain about that. Let's take a look at what's going on with Defender. As of right now, showers and storms are developing again just to the west and southwest of Lexington. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's start you out into southeastern Kentucky where we have a round of some rain. Southern southeastern Kentucky, we've had rain pretty much on and off throughout most of the day. London, Corbin, down into Williamsburg, Whitley City. A little bit of a jump zone. Then we start to crank up a few more thunderstorms from E-Town toward parts of downtown Louisville. Spotty stuff now trying to pop across sections of the Bluegrass region, south of Versailles, south of the BG Parkway, and in northern parts of Mercer County. What is to our southwest will roll on in as we go into the overnight. So if you hear some thunder tonight, don't let it scare you. It shouldn't be anything outside of just some general run-of-the-mill thunderstorms as of now. Cold front to our west really means business. It dives in here early tomorrow with showers and thunderstorms, upper 60s. Then it is game on for a fall feel with a dry wind that blows from the north and northwest for the better part of tomorrow's temperatures stay in the 70s. Guys, when I come back in a little bit, got a lot of September showing up here in the middle of August with your 7-day forecast.
Now to a developing national story we're tracking tonight. A sheriff in Washington state says 3 firefighters were killed tonight while battling a wildfire. He says at least 3 others were injured in the same fire. That fire is burning near a small town in the northern part of the state. Investigators have not said exactly what led to the deaths and injuries of these firefighters.
Tonight, new questions are being raised about the 2009 death of a mentally challenged man in Franklin County. It comes days after police in Michigan arrested his adopted sister, Candy Lawson. She's accused of abusing her adopted disabled sister. Today, we obtained a copy of Christopher Churchill's 2009 death certificate, which shows he died of protein-calorie malnutrition. He was in Lawson's care at the time. The Franklin County coroner says Churchill weighed just 60 pounds. He was 33 years old when he died. The coroner says at the time there was no substantial evidence of anything to show abuse. But with Lawson now facing abuse charges in Michigan, both the Franklin County coroner and sheriff's office are taking another look into Churchill's death.
It's marketed as a matchmaking website for married people, but hackers say they've leaked a massive database of users from what's called Ashley Madison.
And today, someone started sending tweets claiming to expose people from Kentucky who are some of the website's customers. So this may have you asking, what can you do to keep your personal information out of the hands of hackers? New at 11, Garrett Weimer talks to a computer expert.
Whatever you want to do on the web, remember, you're not anonymous.
As many as 37 million people could learn that lesson the hard way.
Have an affair.
Hackers calling themselves the Impact Team released data from millions of accounts on the Ashley Madison website, whose slogan is "Life is short, have an affair." On Wednesday, a new Twitter account began tweeting the names of Kentuckians it says are part of the data dump. We're not releasing the identities the Twitter account is naming. Dozens of state government email addresses are also reportedly on the list. The state employee handbook includes the acceptable use policy for state email. It says only incidental personal use of email is allowed, and even that is not encouraged. It also says any incidental personal use should be, quote, ethical and responsible. As for the treasure trove of users, questions do remain as to the authenticity of the information. According to reports, users do not have to verify the email address they're signing up with. Still, experts say the leak is a reminder that there are no secrets on the internet.
I don't think the message is be afraid, be very afraid. I think, yeah, it's be judicious, be careful. Be careful where you put your data that's not on your own machine.
In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Cameron says a hack like this was inevitable because many websites and companies don't protect our information sufficiently, and it appears within the last few hours Twitter suspended that Kentucky leak page.
New tonight, Lexington city leaders say they will issue a building permit tomorrow morning for the new high school in Fayette County. Earlier this week, the city said it could not approve the permit the contractor asked for because there were still questions about the extra traffic the school would bring. The school is being built along Winchester Road. After a meeting with Fayette County school leaders this afternoon, city leaders say there is now an agreement on traffic improvements. The city says there will be improvements in a turn lane off of Sir Barton Way to the new school. And both sides will talk about improving access from Winchester Road.
All right, mark your calendars, UK basketball fans. Tonight, the SEC unveiled the conference schedule for the upcoming season. Rob Bromley joins us now with a look at who the Cats are playing and when. How about it, Rob?
Well, the non-conference schedule came out back in May. Tonight, we learned the SEC schedule for the Wildcats, and it will start off on Saturday night, January 2nd in Rupp Arena against Ole Miss. And then it's a Tuesday night matchup against LSU in Baton Rouge, followed by another road game at Alabama. Cats come home to play Mississippi State. Then they play 2 more on the road, traveling to Auburn and Arkansas on a Thursday night. Home games with Vandy and Missouri. Remember now, the Kansas game on the road actually will close out the month of January. February begins with a trip to Tennessee, back-to-back home games with Florida and Georgia. You'll see Florida on WKYT, and then the schedule alternates home and away all the way through February. The Vandy game on the 27th you will see right here. In March, a trip to Florida on a Tuesday night and back to Rupp to close it out against LSU on March 5th. That game will be on WKYT. So there you have it. Kentucky will start things off in November. Exhibition games against Ottawa on November 2nd and Kentucky State on November 6th.
Rob, thank you. And by the way, Big Blue Madness is scheduled for Friday night, October 16th in Rupp. The Blue-White game is October 27th. Today, former Subway spokesman Jared Fogle agreed to a plea deal in a federal child pornography case, and he's now facing time in prison.
Prosecutors released documents today laying out the charges against Fogle. They say that he traveled to New York to pay for sex acts with minors. He's also accused of knowingly receiving child pornography secretly produced by the executive director of his foundation.
This is about using wealth, status, and secrecy to illegally exploit children.
Jared Fogle is expected to receive anywhere between 5 and 12 years in prison. He's also agreed to pay $100,000 in restitution to each of the 14 minor victims. Fogle's wife also filed for divorce today. In a statement, his family says they're, quote, shocked and profoundly disappointed by Fogle, but they say they're grateful he's accepting responsibility.
Tonight, a Laurel County homeless shelter that has helped hundreds of people over the years is in need of help itself. Leaders of the Christian Shelter for the Homeless say they've been receiving fewer donations in recent weeks. Without help soon, they say they may have to cut back on services for the homeless.
Ministry of this shelter enables them to come and get a fresh start. It's not merely a place to crash or merely a place to grab a meal.
A GoFundMe page has been set up for the shelter. We have information for you at WKYT.com.
Tonight, Lexington police are looking for a man who stole a donation jar from a gas station. The theft was caught on surveillance video. The Shell station on Polo Club Boulevard had been collecting donations for victims of the Nepal earthquake. But the jar filled with donations was stolen from the counter Monday night. The owner of the gas station thinks the jar had at least $600 inside. Tonight, police have a new warning about the dangers of synthetic marijuana. Earlier this week, the Madison County Sheriff's Office arrested a man they say that had 20 ounces of synthetic marijuana in his home. State police say these kinds of drugs are becoming a bigger problem in Kentucky. And police say they're causing more people to end up in the hospital.
It's more potent now than it may have been 4, 5, 6 years ago. And it seems like it's actually being used more.
Synthetic marijuana is illegal in Kentucky. Police say it's often sold under names like Serenity, K2, or Spice.
New tonight, a pregame prayer will be returning to Bell County High School football games this season. 4 years ago, the Freedom from Religion Foundation sent the school a letter complaining about the prayer. State attorneys told the school then that continuing the prayer would be unconstitutional. But recently, the First Priority Christian group made up of teachers and students at the school got approval from the school board to bring prayer back before games.
Several of our First Priority students, so it'll be student-led, who are interested in leading the prayer. It's not an organized prayer, so it'll happen sometime before the game, probably over the loudspeaker.
In a statement, the ACLU of Kentucky said it wants more detailed information about the school's decision, and the organization plans to monitor how it's implemented.